We spend our lives chasing things: status, success, approval, security. We chase them like they're oxygen, believing that once we catch them, we'll finally breathe. But here's the strange thing. Most of what we chase, we don't actually need. We just think we do. Somewhere along the way, we were taught that more means better. More money means more freedom. More praise means more worth. More control means more peace. And so we run. Faster, harder, further from ourselves. But what if the chase is the trap? What if the things we're pursuing are distractions, not destinations? Think about it. Why do we really want validation? Because deep down we fear we're not enough. Why do we crave power? Because we feel powerless inside. Why do we seek attention? Because we haven't yet learned to sit comfortably in our own presence. The chase gives us something to do, a purpose, a target, a reason to keep moving. But it also gives us something to avoid: stillness, honesty, ourselves. There's a reason silence feels unbearable for some people. In the quiet, we come face to face with what's missing. Not out there, but in here. And that's when the truth starts whispering. You were never empty. You were just distracted. You were never unworthy. You were just comparing. You were never behind. You were just running someone else's race. The irony is, everything we chase out there is often something we already carry within. Peace, belonging, freedom, love. But we bury it under schedules, achievements, filters, masks, hoping the world will notice us before we learn to notice ourselves. So what happens when you stop chasing? You get still. And in that stillness, you start to see clearly. You start to question, who told me I needed this? Whose voice am I trying to impress? Is this dream even mine? And sometimes, the scariest realization is that the finish line we were sprinting toward was never ours to begin with. Freedom isn't found in catching what the world told you to want. It's found in asking, what do I actually need? And sometimes the answer is simple: less noise, more depth, fewer masks, more truth. So if you're tired, if you're burned out from chasing shadows, pause. Ask yourself, what would I still be if everything I was chasing disappeared? Because real peace doesn't come from finally getting everything. It comes from realizing you were never missing anything in the first place. But this truth isn't loud. It doesn't shout. It waits in the quiet, beneath all the noise you've mistaken for meaning. That's why it's hard to find. Not because it's far away, but because we're rarely still enough to notice it. We fear stopping. We fear being left behind. But the truth is, you only fall behind in a race that doesn't belong to you. And maybe it's not about running faster. Maybe it's about getting honest about where you're even going. We confuse movement with purpose. But just because something keeps you busy doesn't mean it makes you whole. Sometimes the most radical thing you can do is choose not to chase, to sit with yourself, to ask harder questions, to give yourself permission to want less. Because needing less doesn't mean you've given up. It means you've awakened to a deeper kind of wealth, one that isn't counted in likes or dollars or applause, but in quiet moments of contentment no one else sees. You become rich not by collecting more, but by craving less. And maybe that's the real revolution. Not building a bigger life, but discovering how little you need to feel alive. So when you feel that pull again, that ache to chase, to prove, to reach, pause. Feel it, but don't obey it. You are not a machine. You are not a brand. You are not a performance. You are a human being. And being is enough. Let the world run in circles if it must. You can walk slowly, deliberately, toward something deeper, toward the kind of life that doesn't need to be broadcast to be beautiful. Because sometimes, the most powerful life is the quiet one you choose on purpose.
If this made you pause, if you're drawn to deeper truths and quiet strength, then you're in the right place. Like, subscribe, and keep exploring with us. See you in the next one.